I'm Julie Bird, and today I'm going to show you a little how-to video on creating a yoga prop, specifically the prop known as a yoga block. Now these are very useful. You can use them in standing postures to put your hand down instead of reaching all the way down to the floor. You can sit on them. You can use them in various yoga activities, and they're quite useful. And these are very nice. These are foam and lightweight. And you may or may not have a block or enough blocks for your own home yoga studio, and right now it might be a little difficult to obtain one. So I'm going to show you how you can create a yoga block rather easily from things you just have around the house anyway. So first of all, a yoga block's not very big. It's about 9 inches by maybe 4 inches high or 7 inches high and about 4 inches across, and so they're very small, and we don't need a lot of material, and probably material that you have around in the form of delivery boxes. Now a large enough delivery box can be cut into shapes, and I've done that before. I'll show you an example of that. But you can also create from smaller boxes. I'm going to show today how to turn this nice small box. You can see that it's somewhat similar in size, certainly in the width, very similar. It's a little bit bigger than this, which is not a bad idea to have in a yoga block anyway. So we're going to make this turn this into a very nice yoga block. You'll need a couple of things. You will need a box somewhat similarly shaped to this. Empty is good. If you have more boxes, you can use those to fill this thing up. And duct tape. We're going to be using duct tape as well. So go ahead and acquire those things, and let's get to making you a yoga block with just random stuff that would be taken out to be recycled anyway. Now before I get to showing you how to make a yoga block with just this box, I want to show you a previous yoga block that I made a little while ago, and I made this one because I was fascinated with what are called egg-shaped blocks, and you can see that this is an oblong shape, but it's shaped more like an egg. And I decided I want to make one of my own, and what this is, it's layer after layer after layer of cardboard. Basically what I did is I cut the cardboard shape out over and over and over again and stacked them together. And that is a great way to make a very dense, thick, and very sustainable block. This has been together for a few years. You can see it's wrapped with very colorful duct tape. And it's great, although the cutting out process is a bit tedious. And I was thinking, well, there's plenty of boxes, and my goodness, we could be bored right now, so making something like this might not be that bad of an idea. But using this component is actually going to be a lot easier. So if you have just larger boxes and that's all you have, great. You'll be cutting out a shape. It doesn't have to be oblong. It could actually be a whole bunch of these shapes. Same process. You just cut it out again and again and again until you have a thick enough stack of them to stack together. And as you can see, that would take quite a lot because each one of these boxes is rather thin. But this isn't going to take us all that much time because we're just going to fill it up. And so what we're going to use for fill material is going to be some newspaper, but also I just happen to have around some, also from something that was delivered, some foam, and it's a very nice and sturdy foam. It's none of the pieces are the right shape, so I'm going to be cutting it up to fit into this box. And so let me do that a little bit and show you how I'm going to be filling up this box and turning it into a yoga block. Okay, so we've got our box, and what I did with this piece of foam is I broke it up into all sorts of little pieces, which they don't have to be as rough as fine. Just so happened that these pieces, the majority of them, fit into this box quite nicely, not completely the same size, but going to give a nice rigidity. And yet I want it to have even more, so I'm going to take a piece of cardboard and place it in the very bottom of this and just fit it in there. so that it has a very smooth bottom to it. And then placing this this piece of foam in here, and then just the various pieces of it that I can sort of mush in here together. No particular thing other than I do not want it to crowd the top, so I'm always checking to see, does this fold flat again? I don't want it bulging upward. But just setting up these pieces in whichever order I can get them to fit in, just to fill up the space, because I don't want there to be any gaps in space that would allow the box to crush as I'm using it. Not fitting. There we go. And well, there. Okay, a little left over there. All right, so now that's not completely filled. As you can see, there's gaps inside of there, and I want it to not crush down. And so I've got some flyers that were delivered through the mail slot, and so I'm going to fit those into this a little bit, just to give it a solid surface, so that when we close this down, there are no real gaps that could be crushed. Just shoving that in, making sure I don't misshape the box. Okay, so it's still able to fold in, and I can still get the top together pretty nicely. And as I try and press it, I'm not finding any edge of it, maybe a little bit right there, so I've got to push a little bit more paper into that edge. It's a great way to recycle with use. Okay, so push that in there. Again, make sure that it's going to close. Okay. All right, so it's a little nicely stuffed, very, very firm, not compressing or crushing. That's going to make a nice block. And now we're ready for the next part, which is taping all of this together. So now we need our duct tape. Now, the wonderful thing about duct tape is that there's a standard stuff, and it can be of high or low quality, doesn't matter, but it comes in different colors. You've got a white one there, and I've also found a green, and a blue, and then sometimes they have patterns, and so we can decorate it in whatever color. But what you want to start with, your first layer, is going to be the simple gray layer, because that's what's going to be what we'll construct this with, and we want to get the edges as neatly together as you can, so we maintain this shape, although a little bit of an oblong shape. After all, I created something that doesn't have a perfect shape, so if it's a little bit off, it's okay too. And you don't have to be perfect on the first one, so we're just going to get something that begins to define the shape right there. So I've got it together in this way, and I'll just put the tape down. Doesn't even have to be all the way across. Just getting something to begin to go together. If you have another person to help you, it makes it easier. And just as you can see, I'm pushing it down so that I can create a more firm edge. And we're going to be covering this in more than one layer, so feel free to be a little sloppy with your first go around, although we don't want it very many wrinkles in it. As smooth as possible is great, but that's all going to be covered over. So we can see got a nice firm edge there. Now I want to get the same thing over here. You see if I just left it there, it would be slightly gapped, so I'm going to be pushing it down and together until I close that gap. Show you that gap. The nice thing I like about duct tape is that you can tear it instead of do it with scissors. That's great. And so coming from this edge, I've got to make sure that it's pushed down nice and firm. All right. There we go. So we're starting to see, okay, still maintaining its relatively rectangular shape. You can see that this edge needs a little bit more pressure. So you're just going to start with one edge. And so you come to that one edge and you want to pull firmly without, of course, duct taping yourself to the box. Nice firmness there across it. And take it across this edge. And flat, and back to start. Okay, cut that. All right, so we've got that end. Now we're going to put one right in the middle. And I'm not just going to the other end, simply because I want to make sure that any pressure is going from one end to the other, so I don't end up with a bulge in the middle. Go again, and then we'll do this last end. All right, so you're going to make wrap after wrap. I'll come back again and I'll show you as this is a little bit more, so you don't have to sit here and watch me slowly wrap a box. So be back in a moment. Okay, so now you can see that I've got it pretty much wrapped on this side, leaving the ends still to do. And the best thing to do with these ends is to basically go across. It's going to add another layer of stability to the block to come across it right there. Now I'm not covering up the corners yet, and even though only this one end didn't have tape, and across in a cross hatch, we're going to add a lot of stability to our block. Again, trying to avoid as much as possible wrinkles, because they're just going to translate into the layers above this one. There we go. I'll be doing one more of these. Now, I like duct tape for many reasons, but this reason is because of the feel that it gives this block. It's a very smooth, comfortable to your hand. It's not slippery, so it's not going to fall out of our hand. There we go. And it is cleanable. Now you'll notice that there's still some edges here, and that's okay. Now technically, this is the single layer is usable. By the way, when there is an edge, you might get a little bit of stickiness there, so you can push that down. So it's usable like it is, and so if you had to conserve your duct tape, you could just use it with one layer, but I'm going to give it another layer, and might even give it some interesting coloration effects. So from now on, I'm going to again go so that we won't see this edge. I'm going to wrap it in this direction, which is going to be another cross hatching, and it's going to cover up those edges. And so I will show you the product when I get done with that. So okay, here is the block. It's completely coated. There are, as you can see, a few wrinkles, and what I do with those is I just sort of mush them down so they're as flat as possible. It's a totally usable block. It's very strong. It's got a little bit of squish, which is similar to these. Have a little bit of squish. The edges, if you don't like the fact that there's a little bit of a corner to them, well, that's going to go away if you continue to wrap with more layers of duct tape. So if you don't like an edge that you're feeling, then you go over, say, for example, in this direction with the duct tape, and that begins to wind down that edge more and more and more. So I think that's what I'm going to do on this one. There's a smoothness on this edge because of the wrap. The more you wrap it, the softer the feel, the more it's going to be a very nice texture underneath the hand. And so I'm going to go with another wrapping, and this time I'm going to use some of my colorful just to make this look a little more fun. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Well, all right, there you have it. The final block product doesn't look unfancy at all. So nice and bright with the different colored duct tape. I used the gray as the background, the blue and the green, and then the white. Very distinctive and unique, and quite functional. It holds up very well. It's easy on the hands. There's no roughness, no stickiness to this. Quite cleanable. And after all, it was created out of things that we're just going to recycle anyway. So I would love to see what you created. The links below. You can send me an email, and I hope you have as much fun and ease of creating this block for yourself. And there we go. Now, even if you don't have your own block, you can make one out of what you've got around. All right. So happy building, and I'll see you next time.